بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم الحمد لله رب العالمين وصلى الله وسلم وبارك على نبينا محمد وعلى اله وصحبه اجمعين. اما بعد، حقيقه يعني نحن الان على ثغره. الله سبحانه وتعالى يقول لرسوله محمد صلى الله عليه وسلم: قل هذه سبيلي ادعو الى الله على بصيره انا ومن اتبعني. والمسلم يحمل هما قال يعيش على هذه الارض وهو دعوه الى دين الله تبارك.
All praise is due to Allah, and we seek His help, we seek His forgiveness, and mercy blessing be upon our Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam. At this time, we are in a very critical situation. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala said that the entire ummah should call upon Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala's path. And the path of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is only is lighted from Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, which is the light of knowledge.
ونحن في نعمة وهي نعمة الهداية، وهي أعظم نعمة من الله بها على عباده. لكن لا يجوز أبدا أن نحتكر هذه النعمة، يجب أن نرسل إلى غيرها.
So Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala guided us and He showed us the straight path. And it's a great blessing from Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. So we cannot keep this blessing to ourselves only. We should pass this ni'mah, this guidance to other people.
وهذه هي مهمة الرسل. كل الرسل إنما جاءوا دعاة إلى الله تبارك وتعالى.
So this is the duty of all the messengers. They came as a da'iyah, as the one who called upon the path of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala to the whole mankind.
وهذا هو الفرق بين الصالح والمصلح. ولذلك الرسل عندما أرسلهم الله أو قبل أن يرسلهم الله تبارك وتعالى كانوا صالحين، وما كان في عداوة بينهم وبين الأرض، وإنما جاءت العداوة بعد أن أرادوا أن يتحولوا من صالحين إلى مصلحين.
So there's a big difference between the one who is righteous and the one who called upon righteousness. So all those prophets came before, they came to the nation, there was righteous people. And there was no any envy and problem between the nation and the prophet himself. But when the problem began, when people wants to preach or wants to approach the others to be righteousness. So from this point, the differentiate started.
وموسى عليه الصلاة والسلام كانت بني إسرائيل تحبه، وفرعون تربى في بيته موسى عليه الصلاة والسلام، وعيسى كانت بني إسرائيل تحبه، ومحمد كان العرب يحبونه. وإنما جاءت هذه العداوات لما أرادوا أن يغيروا ما عليه الناس من الكفر بالله تبارك وتعالى ومن دعوتهم إلى دين الله ليعبدوا الله تبارك وتعالى وحده.
So Moses, peace be upon him, people used to love him, and he raises at the Pharaoh's house. Same thing with the Jesus, peace be upon him, people used to love him. Same thing with Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam, the Arabs used to love Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam. So when the envy and the hatred started from the time they want to change, from the time they want to approach other people and call upon Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala and call upon the da'wah of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, from that part, the envy and the hatred started.
ونحن على طريقه المسير. كذلك لو أحبنا الناس وأحبوا التعامل معنا، بعد ذلك عندما ننصحهم ونوجههم وندعوهم إلى الله تبارك وتعالى، طبيعي جدا أن ينالنا ونال الخير.
So we have to follow the same path of all the prophets. So once we call upon our friends and our families and our relatives and we call them upon the righteousness, we call them upon the deen of Allah, the religion of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. So while what you will face against what you preach, this is something obvious. That people will start hating you, people will be against you, people will not follow you, what you are saying. But this is the path of the prophets.
ولذلك إذا كان الأمر كذلك، إذا علينا أن نتعلم سيرة الأنبياء، كيف يتعاملوا مع أقوامهم، كيف يتحملوا أذاهم، حتى نسلك طريقهم.
So because of that, we have to learn how the prophets, peace be upon them all, how their lifestyle used to be, what they did for the da'wah, how they approached their da'wah to the other people. So once we understand what they did, so we can do the same thing according to that.
وأهم شيء أربعة أشياء، هذه أهم شيء ينتبه لها الإنسان.
The main important things, there are 4 points that we have to be concerned about.
الأمر الأول وهو العلم. الإنسان لا يمكن ينشر شيء أو يقول شيء أو ينصح أو يوصل معلومة إلا أن يكون هو يعلمها. لابد أن نبدأ بالتعليم حتى نتكلم بعلم وثقة.
So the first thing is, and the main important thing, once you approach a person, you have to have the first point, which is the knowledge. So a person cannot talk in da'wah, a person cannot approach another person cannot say anything to another person unless the person has a knowledge, a proper knowledge, and because of that knowledge he can give a right message to another person.
هذا ما شلون تفسر كيف تدبر نفسك وهي كل إناء بالذي فيه ينضح وفاقد الشيء لا يعطي.
Now, and if you don't have something with you, if you don't have something which you obtain, you cannot give it to someone else. So if you are empty, you cannot give someone else what you don't have already.
يعني هذا الآن ليس فيه شيء، لا أستطيع أن أعطي أحد شيء، أنا فاضي، لكن هذا فيه، أستطيع.
So the first glass is empty. He cannot offer to someone else because it's empty. So no point giving it to another person. But the bottle is full, so he can give to another person.
الأمر الثاني غير العلم هو الصدق بالحق. أقول كلمة حق، لا نبالي، لكن بأدب ودين ورفق مع الناس. مو إن نصدع بكلمة الحق.
The second thing and very important is to stand in front of stand with the word of truth. No matter how difficult it is, no matter how tough it is, the thing is you have the truth and you have to say it, and you don't have to care. You don't have to care about the consequences.
ما نستحي من قول كلمة الحق، بل بالعكس نشفق على الناس ونرجو لهم الخير.
So we should not feel shy by convey the message of truth, but in fact we have to feel pity on those that we are giving the message to.
الأمر الثالث وهو الرفق مع الناس، نلين مع الناس، خاصة أن الأمر جديد علينا، فلا بد أن نأتي برفق ولين، مثل كيف نتعامل مع الغير، نأتي برفق ولين ولو حول المدينة.
Now the third point, and also is very important, that we have to be very kind and we have to be very soft with those that we are giving da'wah or giving the advice to, because another person is getting something new. So we cannot be harsh and tough on another person, and he is getting something new. So we have to be very soft and very kind-hearted with another person. And Sheikh gave an example of the person. If the person is drawing in the water, in the middle of the ocean, and if you would like to go and help that person, of course, he's just moving his head left and right, and he might splash water on yourself. So you cannot think that this person is not helping me. But you have to be very careful, you have to be very loving to that person, and kindly you have to drag him.
هذا أمر طبيعي جدا عندما يمتنعون من قبولنا، عندما يستهزئون بنا، هذا أمر طبيعي جدا. جئتهم بشيء جديد فنتحمل ما يأتينا منهم.
So this is obvious that once you see a person while giving advice that he will make laugh, he is laughing at you, he will make jokes on you, and he will do a lot of things on you, he criticize you. This is something very normal. You have to understand that you are giving da'wah to someone who's nil, and whatever he is doing is obvious, so you have to accept it.
Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala يقول وقولوا للناس حسنا.
Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala said in the Quran, and say the goodness and the righteousness to the others.
Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala لما أرسل موسى وهارون إلى فرعون وهو من هو؟ قال أنا ربكم الأعلى، قال ما علمت لكم من إله غيري ومع هذا يقول الله لموسى وفرعون فقولا له قولا لينا. When
Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala sent Moses and Aaron, his brother, to tyrant Fir'aun, even though Fir'aun said that I am your Lord in one verse, in another verse he said that I don't know any Lord beside you except me, so I'm your Lord. Whatever he says, in fact, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala instructed Musa and Harun that go to Fir'aun and tell him a nice and soft words. Spoke to him, give da'wah to him with the soft words.
الرسول صلى الله عليه وسلم يقول ما كان الرفق في شيء إلا زانه وما نزع من شيء إلا شانه.
And also Prophet sallallahu alayhi wa sallam said that whenever there is softness in any matter, you will find that matter is really good. And once the softness goes out from whatever the matter that you're having, that things will run up totally.
لذلك لابد أن ننظر للناس نظرة رحمة. نحن ندعو من الله تبارك وتعالى وليست نظرة عداوة.
So whenever we talk to the people, whenever we give da'wah to the people and we approach people, we look upon them as a in mercy, and we should not look upon them with envy and hatred, and these people will not listen to me.
وهذه هي دعوة الرسول صلى الله عليه وسلم. يعني قرأ سيرة النبي صلى الله عليه وسلم عندما آذاه قومه وشجوا وجهه صلى الله عليه وسلم يقول اللهم اغفر لقومي فإنهم لا يعلمون. الرسول صلى الله عليه وسلم تعامل بهذه الطريقة لما آذاه قومه وشجوا وجهه وسالت الدماء على وجه كثير من الدم ويقول اللهم اغفر لقومي فإنهم لا يعلمون.
Same thing with the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam happened, that the Arab nation, his own tribe, they hit him, they throw stone on him, they broke his joke, and the blood is coming out of Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam, and he is wiping his blood, and he's saying that, oh Allah, forgive my nation. They don't know. They don't know.
وهكذا يجب أن نكون نحن نسير على هذا.
And exactly, we have to be on the same path and with the same steps as the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam, and we feel the same.
الأمر الرابع والأخير وهو الصبر على ما يأتينا من خلال هذه.
And the fourth thing, and also it's very important, that you have to have patience, because you are on a path of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala and the prophets, so you have to have patience while doing da'wah.
وذلك الله تبارك وتعالى يقول لنبيه محمد صلى الله عليه وسلم فاصبر كما صبر المؤمنون.
And Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala instructed Muhammad alayhi salam in a verse that have patience as those who have patience before you.
وهذا يقال لنا نحن أيضا أنه يجب علينا أن نصبر كما صبر نبينا محمد صلى الله عليه وسلم.
And the same verse and the same ayah also implement on us that, O believers, O Muslim, you have to have patience with the others, as previous nation have to have the patience.
وهذا الصبر لما يترتب على هذه الدعوة من أجر عظيم عند الله تبارك وتعالى إذا أحسننا الدعوة إليه.
And because of this patience, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala will reward us abundantly that you cannot even count, because the consequences of that is you will guide a person and he will come back to Islam.
فمن نظر في قصة نوح عليه الصلاة والسلام الله تبارك وتعالى 950 سنة يدعو إلى الله تبارك وتعالى وصبر على إيذاء قومه وصور الأداء كثيرة تذكرها.
And also, if we looked upon Prophet Nuh alayhi salam, he gave da'wah to his people 950 years. And this is only the time of da'wah, not the time of how he lived. 950 years giving da'wah to his nation, and all these years he got as a reply back hatred and pain from his own nation.
ومع هذا كانوا يسخرون منه ويستهزئون به ومصطفى وظل يدعو الله تبارك وتعالى حتى جاء الحكم من الله تبارك وتعالى الإنسان بأن يصنع السفينة ليغرق الله من في الأرض.
So 950 years people are laughing at him and joking on him and not listening to him, criticizing him, and 950 years he is just making dua to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala until Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala accepted his dua and instructed him to build a ship, and after that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala sent the flood and the consequences of that people destroyed.
وآمنوا معه قليل.
And only few with Noah, they accepted the call of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala.
وظل نوح من أولي العزم من الرسل ولو آمنوا معه قليل ما يضره ذلك شيء.
And also the Prophet Noah, he is one of the mighty and one of the major prophets of the Islam. Even though the followers of Noah, there was only few, but it will not harm him at anything.
وإبراهيم عليه الصلاة والسلام وهو أبي الأنبياء الله يقول عنه فآمن له لوط.
And Ibrahim, that we believe that he is the father of the prophets, and all the prophets came after Ibrahim alayhi salam. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala instructed that only Lut believed in him. That's it.
وما نقص ذلك من أجل شيء.
And the reward of Ibrahim alayhi salam was the same. It was not deducted.
بينما ذكر الله تبارك وتعالى يونس عليه الصلاة والسلام فأرسلناه إلى 100,000 أو يزيدون أكثر من 100,000 فآمنوا بيونس عليه الصلاة والسلام، ومع هذا لم ينل يونس أعلى من درجة إبراهيم ولا أعلى من درجة يونس.
Also, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala said that Yunus sent to 100 Prophet Yunus sent to 100,000 people and more. So the nation, the number of nation was more than 100,000 people, but at the same time Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala said, at the same time the rank of Prophet Yunus is lesser than Ibrahim alayhi salam and Nuh alayhi salam. So it's not about the quantity.
إذا كان ندعو إلى الله تبارك وتعالى ونؤدي الذي علينا وقضية قبول الناس وعدم قبولهم هذا لا يؤثر على مكانتنا ومنزلتنا عند الله.
So as our duty is to call people upon Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala on the right path, and it will not affect, it should not affect our message to the other people, and we left the rest on Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala.
قضية الأمر عند الله تبارك وتعالى أن أكرمكم عند الله أتقاكم.
So the main thing is with Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is the verse that the one who is closer to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, the one who have fear to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala.
فلا نهتم كثيرا في استجابة الناس استجابة نحن نحب ذلك ونحرص عليه، لكن هذا ليس بأيدينا، القلوب بين أصبعين أصابع الرحمن يقلبها كيف شاء، القلوب بيد الله سبحانه وتعالى. فإذا الناس اهتدوا أو لم يهتدوا هذا ليس شأننا، لكن شأننا والذي يطالبنا الله به هو دعوتنا إيصالنا الحق للناس.
So it's not our concern that how many people are following the path and how many people are guided, being guided, and how many people happen to them, that they're being guided or not. Our duty is, yes, actually we love that the people, to follow us and to listen to us and to follow. But the main thing is what Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala wants, that we call upon the people and we keep the consequences on Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala.
وإذا قال الله لنبيه محمد صلى الله عليه وسلم إنك لا تهدي من أحببت ولكن الله يهدي من يشاء. فكان النبي صلى الله عليه وسلم حريصا على هداية عمه أبي طالب لكن لم يهدي فإنه ليس بيده ومن بيد الله.
Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala said to Muhammad, peace be upon him in the Quran, that you will not guide the one who you love, but Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala guides whoever he wills. So the Prophet sallallahu alayhi wa sallam, he loved his uncle and he is trying his best towards his uncle to accept Islam. But at the end, Allah doesn't want guidance for him, and he died as an unbeliever.
ولذلك نحن نستمر في الدعوة ندعو الله تبارك وتعالى نصدع بالحق ونكلم الناس بالحسنى وبعلم ونصبر على ما جاءنا ولا نتوقف حتى يتوفانا الموت.
So our duty is to keep going with the da'wah in any shape, in any form of a da'wah that we give da'wah to the other people. We should not care that what will going to happen. Our path is to give da'wah and leave the consequences until we die, and this should be our path. And this is the conclusion of the talk. And if you have any questions, brothers, regarding da'wah, especially brother, I think, mashallah, you have a question.